In our last video on HyperLiquid, we went through their entire go-to-market motion. In this video, we're going to dive deep into the growth engine, which is their points program and referral program. This is the fuel that added to the fire. And these growth mechanisms are what has led HyperLiquid to having days with over $20 billion in trading volume. So let's get right into it. So incentives matter in crypto. Incentive design is pretty much at the core of good crypto design, right? If you're building a protocol, people just don't use it out of the goodness of their heart, right? There has to be a good reason for them to do it. And what HyperLiquid did really well is making sure the product itself was really, really good before they started pushing on incentives. So they did that through a closed alpha group. They did give these people points, but the fact that it was a closed group just really meant that they could get great feedback. So once you do have that closed group of people that have given you great feedback, you have a product that's very good, that people like using, that's when you can add on incentives to both build activity and advocacy. So let's start with the points program. This started in season 1. During season 1, 1 million points were distributed to people. They were distributed based on your trading volume. So weekly resets meant that you basically had to keep earning. So each week you essentially would have to earn more points, right? So you would have, each week 1 million points getting distributed. So it created this dopamine style effect where you would try to hit the leaderboard and, earn X number of points each single week. This is important because you're building habit formation. So for example, a lot of protocols, what they do is they add streaks. So if you keep daily activity, you can maintain a streak. While HyperLiquid didn't specifically do this, with the weekly points distribution, they did ensure that people would use the protocol every single week. And here's the thing, everybody knows that there will be an airdrop, right? Like they don't know the value of these points. So it gives the team a lot of flexibility. It also gives you a lot of ability to play around with different incentive structures and try things out without it necessarily converting to tokens at a certain rate, right? So points give you flexibility, but you do have to respect the fact that people are putting in work to get these points. Now, at this point, right, they didn't just want active traders, they wanted evangelists. And that's where the referral program came in. So even in season 1, they had a referral program. And this referral program allowed you to earn a percentage of the points of the people you referred, up to a pretty high amount in volume. So you would actually be incentivized to go share this with friends of yours who are whales or like legit traders, because you would get a percentage of their points. And this could mean you could get a huge airdrop if you bring in the right person, right? And this also led to a ton of KOL activity as KOLs realized that, hey, if they can just get that one whale on board in their audience, that could just make this like incredibly worthwhile for them. By early 2024, they leveled up this referral program. So new users who used a code got a 4% trading fee discount in their first $25 million in volume. Referrers earn 10% of the take fees from their recruits. So this wasn't just about an airdrop now, this was also about actual fees and earning right now. So this was actually just even more valuable. Now what this did is this turned users into marketers, and it also turned marketers into power users, right? If you are a KOL, if you have an audience, it would make sense to just bring people to HyperLiquid because you'd get rewarded pretty hugely for this. And what this meant is as you got more users, you got more liquidity, you got better markets, and it led to a better experience. Now let's go a little bit deeper into the actual referral program itself, right? Now, one thing to keep in mind with their points program and referral program is they had seasons, right? So season 1 was from November 1st to May 1st, right? For around 6 months. So they gave out 1 million points each week. And this is where they had a ton of growth. If you referred somebody, you would get 25% of their points essentially. So that was a really, really big driver of growth. And the way this worked is because it was mostly based on activity, it favored whales and high frequency traders. But the fact that you had referrals meant that people who had social capital could also earn big here. And then they had a short season 1.5 from May 1st to May 28th. There was a points multiplier. So basically it was understood as double rewards. This was a quick short sprint. And this is also where, they had a ton of activity. And then they had season 2 from May 29th to September 29th in 2024. At this point, they're distributing 700,000 points weekly. So there was more points being distributed a bit earlier and less users as well. So essentially you got, if you were earlier a user, you would definitely get more points. The big difference with season 2 is you also had points for spot trading as well as asset holding. So this opened it up to more types of users, right? Like users who necessarily aren't comfortable with perp futures. Now, after season 2, you had the airdrop in November 29th. And this is where things just really went crazy, right? With 30% of their airdrop going to 94,000 users, which at current prices is something like $14 billion. You basically had people making 5 figures to 6 figures to even some users making 7 figures and higher on this airdrop. So this just led to a massive amount of euphoria and just community growth, as well as more people started FOMOing in, and led to hype just crushing it, right? Like you see the price of hype just going like crazy vertical after that airdrop. A few reasons why the airdrop really worked is because it tapped into a few big psychological triggers. So the first is reciprocity, right? Like a huge airdrop just engenders loyalty. You're more likely to use HyperLiquid because obviously HyperLiquid's done great for you and you probably want to stay on versus go to a random other protocol, right? The second is commitment and consistency. Because of these weekly resets in points and you're earning points every single week, it kept traders engaged, so you're building habits there. The third was social proof. So with leaderboards, you basically had people competing to be on the top of the leaderboard. You're rewarding people for that. And the last one was you had scarcity and urgency. A lot of these seasons had end dates that were like, basically, for example, the end date for season 1 created a lot of FOMO. A lot of people started trading more heavily around that time as well. Same thing for season 2 as well. So these are universal growth levers. Now in the third video, I'm going to go into HyperLiquid's post-TGE and ecosystem strategy and how they grew from just being a perps DEX into a layer 1 ecosystem that tries to put everything financial on chain. Make sure to subscribe so you're notified when the next video is live.